So any fair-minded American knows we have less freedom today than ever before. And this is a very real danger, because without freedom, America is not America. America is just a country between Canada and Mexico. That's condition number one. Condition number two. Forget number one. Now let's concentrate on number two. And that is that America, another thing anyone can agree with, because this is a matter of fact, not opinion. America is more secular, less religious than at any time in its history. Everybody agrees with that. Left, liberal, conservative, centrist. This is a fact. There are more nones, N-O-N-E, people with no religion, than at any time since Americans have been in existence. Fewer Americans go to church on a regular basis, percentage-wise, than at any time in American history. Americans know less about the Bible than at any time in American history. There are more atheists than at any time in American history, more agnostics, more secular people. Every institution is essentially secular. Almost every school is secular. So, though that's a fact, no one denies that. So here is my proposition, that as America has become less religious, more secular, America has lost freedom. It has had less freedom. So here is the question. Here is where the trigger, as Megan put it, comes. I am certain, I don't think. I am certain those two facts are correlated. You might say they are both true. There is less freedom and there is less religion, but they're not in any way related. You can say that, and you may be right. But I am pretty close to certain that they are related. Look at any coin in the United States, and this has been true for much of American history. You have three statements or phrases or values on every American coin. This is how I got my concept of the American Trinity. Liberty, in God we trust, and e pluribus unum, from many one. Let's take e pluribus unum and put it aside. On every coin are the propositions, are the beliefs in God and liberty. This country, the United States of America, was founded to be free, and it was founded by people who believed God wanted us to be free, and that freedom depends upon faith in God with regard to the large majority of the population. Now, this is true for all the founders, even Jefferson, who was not a big believer. Even Jefferson. By the way, just for the record, there were no deists among the founders. Deists, the way it is understood, is people who believe that there is a creator, but the creator took no interest in his creation. Creator created the world and then retired. Unmoved mover, as Aristotle put it. None of the founders of this country, of the United States of America, were deists in that sense. None. They all believed in God, the Creator, who intervenes in human affairs and who judges human behavior, and to whom people should pray. All of them. Especially Benjamin Franklin, who was always called a deist. They weren't all Christians, but they were all God-centered, Bible-centered people. They not all believed in a triune God, not all believed in the Christian Trinity. That is absolutely correct. But they were all believers in the God of the Bible. Okay? If you want to be honest, you have to acknowledge that. These were not deists. They knew freedom depended upon God. That's why the Liberty Bell, the iconic symbol of America, has a verse from the Bible. and you shall proclaim liberty throughout the lands to all its inhabitants, throughout the land to all its inhabitants, unto all its inhabitants. Leviticus 25. It's interesting that it's from the book of Leviticus. I believe, I truly do, I'm gonna ask Will Witt to try this out, to go on a campus and ask 50 students randomly, what is Leviticus? I predict that if he asks 50, 10 of them will know it, 40 won't. The founders not only knew what Leviticus was, they knew it basically by heart. Who knows Leviticus 25? They did. Many of them knew it in Hebrew, as it happens. John Adams knew Hebrew, second president of the United States. You couldn't get a degree from Harvard till 1800 if you didn't know Hebrew. That's how important the Bible study was in the United States. This country was free because it was deeply rooted in the belief that God wanted us to be free. And here is the key proposition. If freedom comes from God, men cannot take it away. But if freedom comes from men, men can take it away. Pretty simple. That's why they speak in the Declaration of Independence of certain inalienable rights, because they're from the Creator, from God. That's why they're inalienable. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That is why they're inalienable. If they don't come from God, they are not inalienable. They can be removed by anybody. And that's what's happened. Because people believe less and less in the God of the Bible in the United States, they believe less and less in freedom. Because freedom doesn't come from God. If you don't believe in God, where does freedom come from? From you, from your beliefs. But what if your beliefs are, I should shut the next guy up if he speaks hate speech? Right? And who determines what is hate speech? You do. So you can shut anybody up you differ with, which is exactly what is being done. As America becomes less religious, less God-centered, less Bible-centered, it is less free. Those are two facts. I am certain they are related. It is not a coincidence. I have spent my life basically teaching one thing, the consequences of secularism. People are so brainwashed in a secular brainwash that they don't ask the question, is there any price? Which, by the way, you know that you haven't met someone who has thought seriously about life if they don't ask the question, what is the price paid? It's one of the most important questions you can ever ask. What is the price paid? For anything. What is the price pay if I marry? What is the price paid if I don't marry? What is the price paid if I have children? What is the price paid if I don't have children? For anything, the only time we ask what is the price is when we actually buy something, which is important. We should ask it about anything. Before you buy secularism, you should ask, what is the price? What's the price? Happiness, meaning, objective morality, freedom. It's a pretty big price. It's very scary. Australia is very secular and very totalitarian right now. As I speak to you, in most of Australia, you can't leave your house for more than 3 hours. You can't talk to people in the street. You can be arrested if you do. Same with New Zealand. What do they have in common? They are particularly secular. Same with Canada. The more secular in the West. Now, there is secularism I welcome. If Iran became secular tomorrow, I think it would be a great thing. I want to make that clear. Between a secular Iran and an Islamist Iran, I'm not saying Muslim, I'm saying Islamist, where they want to impose Sharia on people, I'll take secularism. I understand gradations of lack of freedom. There's more freedom in a secular Iran than there is in a totalitarian Islamic theocracy. I agree. But I'm not talking about the non-Western world. I'm talking about in the West. When we drop the Judeo-Christian origins of the West, we get less free. Big, big issue. Okay.